Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
This is Brother Bayan here.
Hey, Tazwan.
Here to bring you a quick lesson. Prior to get started, we're going to give infinite honors and prayers unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash.
double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone who taught us the truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, you Akim, you Aquad, which is your brothers and sisters in Hebrew that believe. All right. And, through the Spirit, things that's been happening, throughout this week, and also many conversations that, again, through the Spirit that brothers been having, it's a uprising of rebellious jakes, pretty much coming against, the elders and apostles, not really giving the respect as needed, and choosing to do their own thing, okay? And the best way to pretty much explain, it seems like that these men seek the glory for themselves, all right, and don't want to work and be under, serving their brothers,
I got a quick one for you real quick.
Okay.
This is Galatians 5:26. It says, let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. Right, like the brother said, you got a uprising of men who seeking vainglory, preeminence, okay, in a planet, all right, or amongst, the Hebrew Israelite ministry, okay, which ultimately that's a telltale sign of the end,
Yeah, beautiful point. Because again, you got the purple people camp, don't really like the city name, that I remember what was like the Passover, that the dude come in riding on a horse and so on and so forth, being a pleaser of men, all right, and not being a pleaser of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, all right. This thing is real simple, and we got to understand, man, that this story is not about us, all right. This is the Lord's story, and we are, characters, main characters in the story, but this is the Lord's story, all right. So, I'm gonna kick. I'm gonna grab Ephesians chapter 6 and 5. It says, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, and singleness of your heart as unto Hamashiach. All right, not with eye service as men pleasers, but as servants of Hamashiach, doing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai from the heart. All right, with good will doing service as the Lord and not to men. All right, and that's plain, man. And people get hell bent over that word masters. All right, being obedient to your master is pretty much as being obedient to your teacher.
Got it.
All right, your teacher that's giving you the breakdown. That's teaching you these things. All right, because Jake didn't come out of nowhere and just understood the scriptures just off the snap. We had men that was doing work before us. That we give honors to through the Spirit that the Lord gave them the word to teach us.
That's some real quick.
You got it.
This is I'm gonna just go with the NLT through the Spirit. But this is Hebrews 13:17. It says, obey your spiritual leaders and do what they say. So it's plain,
right.
Hey, we got spiritual leaders that are over us. All right, like the apostles, and brothers always go into. We have entered in other men's labors, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that, these men are, experienced. Have gained a great deal of knowledge throughout the years. You got to think, man, Apostle Tahar been doing this thing 40 years,
right?
And still doing it diligently.
Gone.
Okay, and the apostles, 35 plus, so on and so forth. These men are vetted men. Okay, and for younger brothers like us, new believers, etc. We are to hearken to their words, because ultimately the Lord is supping with them on a higher level through the Spirit.
Right.
So they're not gonna, steer us in the wrong direction, so on and so forth, because ultimately their fruit, all right, and their works, coincide, okay, and so forth, that they are the true teachers, okay, in the Israelite ministry today.
Yeah, beautiful, brother. Because you got more?
Yeah. You want to make a point though?
Yeah. Because you just got to think about the audacity. The audacity of a man to. Like you said, the elders and apostles, they've been pushing long before we was even born, So that's crazy to say that you think that you could come in this thing and just completely just rule things, take it over, I ain't gonna listen to this, I ain't gonna do this. Nah, it's sound advice and sound counsel that's coming from the elders and apostles when it comes to many matters, all right? And why is that? Because they are aged men in the truth.
Got it.
But you got it.
Finishing it out. It reads, it says, again, obey your spiritual leaders and do what they say. Their work is to watch over your souls, and they are accountable to the Most High. Give them reason to do this with joy and not with sorrow. That will certainly not be for your benefit, right? So again, you know, these men watch for our souls, man.
Yep.
Okay, so when Apostle Tahar comes out with decrees, you know, or, you know, even amongst camps, you know, your heads, or your, you know, your elders, so on and so forth, you know, give you sound and wise counsel, you are to hearken to it, man. All right, it's plain, you see?
Yeah, it's not hard, man. You know, the main thing that would get in the way of making this hard is when your pride get in the way.
Yeah.
All right, so if your pride of thinking that, oh, I'm a grown ass man, I ain't about to let no another man tell me that I can't make this, I can't do this, and then the third, and then you just start to run away in your own thoughts. You know, you falling right in Satan's trap. You know, thinking that you above the group and you know, you ain't got to listen to this.
You're bigger than the program.
Right.
You know, and again, you know, that's some guys, you know, seeking preeminence. All right, seeking vainglory, you know, want to be the it guy and all that shit, man. Fuck all that shit, man.
Right. At
the end of the day, your sole, you know, goal and objective is, you know, ultimately to obtain salvation. You know, we're not here to be the big shots, you know, and that really comes from, you know, like, you know, that social media, you know, type attitude, you know, want to be the main character.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a big thing going on, which, you know, that ultimately is what pride.
Yeah.
All right, and we already know how the Heavenly Father feels about pride.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. The Lord says many times that He hates pride. He hates a prideful man. All right, so if you can't humble yourself down to, you know, small matters to hearken, because this is not even really nothing, you know, truly that deep. You know, it's not something that is just unsolvable. All right, nah. If you have any type of situation where it's blocking you from the truth, don't do it.
Yeah. And
plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know? You got more?
That was it. Yeah.
I want to get this idiom real quick, you know, that we was talking about, which, you know, brothers should be familiar with, but it's the idiom of too many chiefs and not enough Indians. All right, in the AI overview, it says too many chiefs and not enough Indians means there are too many managers, leaders, and not enough workers to get the job done. All right, highlighting an imbalance where everyone wants to direct, but few want to do the manual labor. While it's the origin, it's debated, it's rooted in colonial views. I think that was pretty much it. But it's now seeing potential. No, okay, yeah, that was the point. All right, but you know, I want to harken on. It says highlighting an imbalance where everyone wants to direct, but few wants to do the manual labor. All right. We understand that, you know, we are working for this penny.
Yeah.
All right. We understand that the Lord has promised this penny to those that do the labor.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, men are still looking to chase that road to be that it guy and want more than that penny.
Yeah.
You know, they don't just want the crown. They want the crown. They want to be the number one pick of the elect.
Yeah.
You know,
they want to be Yahweh Shai. And I always say that, like, a lot of these guys really want to be Yahweh Shai. A lot of guys in the Israelite ministry envy Yahweh Shai, bro. You know, when you really pay attention to their actions, how they move, you know, the things they speak, you know, the pride that rolls off their tongue. A lot of guys really want to be Yahweh Shai, man. You know, they envy his spot. You know, they envy his rank. Like the scriptures speak about in Revelation 19, had a name that no man knew, going into his rank ultimately. Okay, his lot. All right, they want that title. They want to be the only begotten, man. But listen, we here to tell you here in GMS that Yahweh Shai is the main character.
Yeah.
All right, he because when you go into the word character, it ultimately, you know, goes back to creation. Okay, he was the main thing, or the first thing that the Heavenly Father created.
Yeah.
He's the it God.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know. You got it.
And through His mercy, you know, we're going to be saved through His mercy. You know, and it's plain and simple. All right, but I got another one. This is 1 Peter chapter 1 and 13, and I'm gonna read it in the KJV and the NLT to make it more plain. It says, "Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance, but as He which had called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation." All right, in the NLT it says,
so think. That again?
Hold that.
No, I'm saying, I said, where you at first?
Oh, 1 Peter 1 and 13.
Got it.
And I read down to 15.
Okay.
In the NLT it says, so think clearly and exercise self-control. Look forward to the gracious salvation that will come to you when Yahweh Shai Mashiach is revealed to the world. All right, so we're doing this work. As I just mentioned, begging and hoping, praying for the mercy of Yahweh Bashim Shai to forgive our sins, our wrongdoings. That's why we're in here doing this work. So Yahweh Shai pretty much being a lawyer, get us out of this legal trouble that we're in. The spiritual trouble that we're in.
Yep.
All right, but it says, verse 14, so you must live as Yahweh Bashim Shai's obedient children. Don't slip back into your old ways of living to satisfy your own desires. You didn't know any better than them. All right, and we know better than them. All right, we know that 106-figure job, ain't the end all be all no more. Chasing M's, chasing that vain glory. We know that that's not the case no more. That's not going to lead to anything but destruction. It's going to take you away from Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, but again, being obedient and recognizing, again, the teachers that's in front of us that's guiding us correctly. All right, to tell you, hey, brother, make your daily bread. All right, make sure you do everything that you can pay your bills. Pay your taxes. Give unto Caesar. What is due to Caesar. We know all of these things that we need to do. All right, but again, they give us, the plain and simple, pretty much, serving the Lord first. At the end of the day, and in plain words.
That's all that matters, man. Yeah. That's what we're here to do.
But one more, verse 15, it says, but now you must be holy in everything you do, just as Yahweh Bashim Shai, who chose you as holy. Which is holy going into being separate. All right, so again, we separating our mind, we separating everything that we used to think about, what it was to make it, to be in line with Yahweh Bashim Shai, all right, which is the whole duty of man to serve the Lord.
I got something real quick.
You got it.
Just again, like pretty much, that in a roundabout way is you putting off the old man, putting off the old man, putting off the old ways, the vain glory, so on and so forth, which is necessary for you to grow in the ministry, okay? And to hearken on the sound counsel, but a lot of guys, they got daddy issues, shit like that, so they tend to, not respect authority, okay? Reverence, the men above them, the elders, so on and so forth.
Yep.
But real quick, this is Ephesians 2:2. It says, wherein in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, right? Because that's a known thing for, men and women to be disobedient to parents, to not respect their elders in this day and age, not to, hearken and, just be completely ignorant.
Right.
All right. But like it says, where in time past he walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience, right? You see people who obey, or Salaki, who refuse to obey the Most High. Okay, so we are to, stray away from that, all right, become new. Again, the scriptures speak about putting off the old man, put off that pride, put off all the, the leaven that you're holding on to from the world, Those things are vital to your walk in this ministry. Those things are the milk. The scriptures speak about desiring the sincere milk, and a lot of guys, they don't come up the right way. All right, they come in and jump straight to trying to be deep, get, eat the steak, so on and so forth, rule over men. What you have when you haven't been properly weaned up in the ministry. Okay, and you see it. Now you got men like who's talking about the one J, or the situation in North Carolina. Okay, who just jumped the gun. All right, they speak out the side of their fucking neck. All right, because what, they haven't been brought up the proper way. They didn't want to fall in line, okay, concerning how to operate in this ministry, man. Because why? They don't have elders.
Right. They
don't have men over them to tell them how to operate and act in this ministry, man.
Yeah.
Okay, and for that, you see what's happening. They're falling. You see.
Yeah, it's no order. So with no order, everything is just gonna fall.
Can I get that in Corinthians real quick? Let me see, I got it. Grab 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 14:40 and Spirit 144. Let all things, or let me go NLT. It says, but be sure that everything is done properly and in order. You see? So that's the thing. The Heavenly Father through the Spirit, through Yahweh Shai, set up the order, man. Okay, and we, you know, if you're gonna be giving double honors, okay, acting like you're for the cause, you know, coming under the doctrine, the banner of GMS, you gotta fall in line.
Right.
You know, simple and plain. If you believe that Yahweh Shai is supping with these men, the apostles and elders on down, why wouldn't you fall in line?
Right.
You know, and again, you know, applying scriptures like we, you know, brought out, you know, in Hebrews, so on and so forth, obeying your leaders. That's what it comes with. Okay, because ultimately this is, you know, the words of the Heavenly Father, man, if you believe it. But a lot of guys don't really believe in this book like they say. You know, they pick and choose where they want to believe or, you know, act right, or, you know, according to the scriptures, man. And that's just completely off. And a lot of these guys, again, are going to fall out. All right, are going to be cast away. You see? But you got something, brother?
Yeah, you mentioned something about, you know, how these guys' actions, you know, is pretty much explaining a lot about them. You know, that's an example of what you're seeing is of being a wolf in sheep's clothing. All right, so they're coming in as sheep, like you said, they're giving double honors, they're doing everything from, you know, from the outside. You're looking in, you're like, okay, they're doing the right thing. All right, but then they start doing things contrary to the doctrine. All right, adding this and, you know, taking away from that, and, you know, I'm not going to listen to this, you know, causing division at the end of the day. All right, and the Lord, you know, tells you, you know, mark them that cause the division. All right, that's something that, you know, as watchmen, you know, which is our job, you know, watching out for prophecy, watching out for your brother, watching out for any type of, you know, any type of attacks that are come, you know, towards the body. These are things you got to be aware of. But that's something else that you have to be on watch for. If a man is moving funny, all right. But
shit, I got a quick one.
Yeah.
Real quick, Matthew 7:15.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
You got it.
It says, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Right? You know, like again, you know, you got a lot of guys, you know, who portray this image. Okay, they you know, come to you with, you know, act like this, just like the one dude. We was watching the video, and what did he say? Well, we would never rebuke the elders. We would never do this and that. But on the back burner, you know, 2 clips later, you know, this man, you know, cussing out the leaders, so on and so forth, in a roundabout way. You know what I'm saying? So again, it says, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You know? Yeah, like you said, inwardly they are ravening wolves. They come, you know, all docile and meek, try to act humble, you know, that fake humble shit. You know what I'm saying? But inwardly, like you said, these men are wolves, man. Yeah.
They definitely don't want your best interest. All right, they want you to fall in the same snares as them. You know, ultimately, which is another trap of Satan. All right, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right, so we know that Satan would get somebody to try to get somebody else to, you know, make a chain reaction of pulling down, you know, a hopeful elect.
Yeah, and ultimately, you know, real quick, if I could grab, let me grab this real quick in Ezekiel.
Yeah, you got it.
Ezekiel 14:9, and I bring this out often because when you deal with that, like the brother may mention, okay, the Heavenly Father has set these men up, you know, and he's using these men to, you know, be a stumbling block, you know, to the ones he don't desire, you know. But real quick, this is Ezekiel 14:9. It says, if the prophet be deceived when he have spoken a thing, I, Yahweh, have deceived that prophet, and I will stretch out my hand upon him and will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel. Right? So the Heavenly Father through the Spirit, is you know, setting up these men to judge them, okay, in the long run. You know how much the Heavenly Father, you know, gotta hate someone to bring them into this glorious light, just to cast them out. That's a hell of a judgment. All right, but it's necessary. You know, you got men, you know, who have to, you know, pay for, you know, whatever they have done, okay, in their past life, so on and so forth. So, you know, he's setting up these false prophets to deceive, you know, the masses, okay, so he can destroy them, all right, and destroy those who are pushing, you know, false doctrine, or, you know, just are contrary to, you know, the body, you know.
I got something to back you up. This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 7 and 21. It says, "Not everyone that said unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven."
Man, that's and brothers always say, man, that's one of the scariest scriptures in the book. You know, just imagine that. You know, you getting denied by Yahweh Shai. You know,
yeah, again, that's a fearful thing. That's a fearful thing to, you know, to believe that you've been doing everything required, you know, just for you to be going the wrong way the whole time, you know, and the Lord, for you to tell you what He's gonna say. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and read it. It says, read it again, Matthew 7 and 21. "Not everyone that said unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works."
Right, you got Jake out on the camp on the line, you know, rebuking, reproving, you know, coming up as, you know, these mighty guys, all right, doing the work, so to speak, you know. But, you know, the whole time it's deceitful, man.
Yeah. It says, "In thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works." And this the scary part right here, verse 23. "And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity." All right. So again, you don't want to fall in that boat. And these are examples of, you know, that this is the outcome of your rebellious actions at the end of the day. All right. If you're choosing to be, you know, a hypocrite, to be one of these men to think so highly of themselves and think that you're doing the work, but you're actually, you know, doing all things, you know, and trying to spread all things, the Lord is going to deal with you for that, you know.
I'll bring this out real quick.
Yeah, you got
it's
it.
The word delusion. In online etymology, it says the act of misleading someone, deception, deceit. When you jump down, it says a false impression or belief of fixed nature. It says technically, delusion is a belief that, though false, has been surrendered to or accepted by the whole mind as a truth. Now, you know, Salakia coming in a little bit late, but nevertheless, I caught the drift. You know, hey, these guys, they actually believe that they're in the truth. You know, but ultimately, it's the Lord putting them through a delusion. You know, He actually has them, just how we believe that this is the truth, right? They're doing it, but the Lord has a alternate end for them. You know, their end is actually destruction. But y'all got it out. Slocking.
Yeah. Real quick, just something to back you up through the Spirit. You know, just applying this Ezekiel 20 and 38 in the Spirit. It says, "And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me, and I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh." Right? So, you know, and that's what we're going to see. The Heavenly Father is going to purge out the rebels amongst the nation, man. All right? You know, again, those who are faking the funk, you know, acting like they in line, man. Like, come on, man. You know, you double honors this, and that. Okay, acting like, you know, you for the team, but you really ain't for the team. You ain't trying to fall in line, man. You just trying to take the doctrine, you know, make it your own. Okay, so you could, you know, receive the glory, you know, so on and so forth, man, which is completely fucking off, man.
Right.
You know, and for that, like I said, again, the Heavenly Father is going to purge out the rebels amongst the nation. You know, that was it. Brothers got anything?
Yeah.
I got it. This the book of Job, chapter 12 and 16. It says, "With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his."
You know, one more read down to 17.
It says, "He leadeth counselors away spoiled, and maketh the judges fools."
All right, but again, you know, the deceived and the deceivers are his. All right, so, you know, these men that you know, think that they're working through the Spirit of the Lord, you know, they're deceived. All right, they're deceived and don't understand that they're spreading poison, you know, attempting to spread poison, you know, throughout the body. All right, which is ultimately is going to, you know, knock a man off if it falls into the wrong hands, you know, or to some brother that's not, you know, strong enough, you know, off the milk yet. You know, that hasn't fallen off the milk yet.
Right, because it's like, you know, just harping on a point, like the counsel they was giving in that video was fucking off.
Right.
You know, they were leading men astray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what you've seen, a lot of men leading the flock astray. Just wanted to jump in there real quick.
I think you brought it out yesterday. Might have been you that if the blind leads the blind. You know, and you don't wanna fall into that boat, man.
Matthew 15.
Yeah.
I'll give it for you for one.
I got something too.
You got it.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and 18. It says, in the subtitle is Ezekiel is appointed to be a watchman. All right, and the whole purpose of a watchman, all right, is to be true to those who he's watching out for. All right, it says, and you can start up at 16, but I'm gonna get the point going into, you know, what these brothers going into. It says, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. All right, and what this brother was saying, all right, counsel goes into judgment. All right, it goes into the way in which you lead a man. All right, because if you have a sincere man who actually believes that you're sent by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai to lead a flock, all right, he's gonna, you know, wholeheartedly take into consideration your counsel. You see, so those guys who are being mischievous and misleading, that blood, all right, will be on their hands.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing the opposite of what we're being called to do. You're leading the flock unto the slaughter. Right. You know, but y'all got it, bro.
That's something that's like the Lord sees that as something very punishable. That's punishable by death.
That's right.
You know, according to the Lord. You know, you're not about to mess with my sheep. The Lord is real particular about his sheep, and he's telling you that, man, I'm going to recover all of my sheep. Everybody's going to, you know, of my elect is going to return into my fold. So if you think that you're going to be able to snatch one of, you know, out, or even if you think that you're doing the right thing, you know, that the Lord is still going to deal with you behind that.
I got something real quick. You know, again, just harping on that counsel. Sirach 44, I'm going to start at the top and the jump. It says, let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. It says, Yahweh have wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. Let me just read through the 4. I'm going to read through the 4. It says, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies. Leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people, wise and eloquent are their instructions, right? So, you know, applying it today to our elders and apostles, you know, these are great men as well through the Spirit. You know, of course, we're not man pleasers, like so on and so forth, but, you know, these men, you know, again, let me read 4. It says, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people, wise and eloquent are their instructions. You see? So, you know, the counsel and instructions that are coming, you know, from up top, they are wise and eloquent, all right, and therefore a benefit, not for our detriment, man. Okay, and if you don't fall in line with that, what you're gonna you know be led astray. Yeah. You know, you're gonna fall subject, all right, to your disobedience, man.
You got more?
That's it.
I got something for you. This is 1 John chapter 4 and 1. It says, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, because many false prophets are going out in this world. All right, so the Lord already, you know, puts out the warning. All right, and I did a lesson about this a while back, but false prophets is definitely a part of the story. All right, that's something that's meant to be, you know, a snare in to trap people, you know, not of the elect, you know. But continuing on, it says, hereby know ye the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, every spirit that confesseth that Yahweh Mashiach is come in the flesh is of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. All right. In verse 3, it says, and every spirit that confesseth not that Yahweh Mashiach is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that the spirit of the Antichrist, where ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is in the world. All right. So even now it's already in the world. And, you know, with, again, the misconception of the Antichrist you know, people think that is one person. All right, no, it's many. It's many. Real quick, if I can continue. You know, it's many antichrist. You know, that's pretty much, you know, what's anti means. You know, to go against. You know, that's against. You know, Yahweh Shai. You know, but you got it, bro.
That's 1 John 2:18. It says, "Little children." And the subtitle says, "Beware of seducers." If a brother can get that word seducer, you know, online etymology, it says, 1 John 2:18, "Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time." You want to say something on it?
Nah, you got it, bro. But I got that word for you too.
All right, and it says, you know, just backing up the point what this brother said, but Antichrist is just anti-Mashiach, all right, anti-Yahushua, okay, and that's not subject to just going against the Bible. No, it's going against everything that the Bible consists of, all right, the whole everything, okay, not even 0.1, you know, 0.0001%, everything, all right, and that's what you know, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. If I could keep going, I want to read this, all right, because it tell you, all right, we have an unction, all right, and through the spirit we believe 100% of the truth, man. It says, "They went out from us," verse 19. "They went out from us, but they were not of us. For if they had been of us, they would no doubt have continued with us. But they went out that they might be made manifest that they were not all of us." All right, what you brought out is prophecy that there will be many antichrists. It's prophecy that there will be friction or static, resistance coming, you know, in the midst of the body. Okay? It has to be made manifest. You see, Yahushua went through
cancerous cells.
And that's why he's coming to heal that too. You know, you brought it out. We're gonna, you know, through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, bring those rebels, bring those cells, right? Those 6 cells to Yahushua that he may exterminate those.
Facts.
But it says, verse 20, "But ye have an unction of the Holy One," Slakia, "you have an unction from the Holy One, and ye know all things," right? Pertaining to salvation, pertaining to truth's sake, all right? And that's the beauty of it. And that's why we always say, don't take this thing for granted, because even at 1,000% that the Lord might, you know, put on Jake to not believe, that little portion could be what plucks you from the truth. You know? And as you can see, these guys, they go out to the highways and byways, they wear their fringes, they probably eat right, you know, follow the dietary law, follow the adultery law, right? They probably do all of those things, but it might be that one little bit
that's causing
that leaven, that small little piece of leaven.
It's still gonna rise.
You know, that'll cause them to go off and err. But this is the last verse. It says, verse 21, "I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because ye know it, and that no lie is of the truth." You know, so the smallest lie, man, or you know, that small little piece of leaven, okay, Jake might not believe and get tripped up on it. You know, but the true holy ones of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua that have been sanctioned from the beginning, they understand, you know, the scriptures and have been given that understanding. Y'all got it, bro.
But I got that word for you, brother. Real quick. Seducer in the etymon, it says one who seduces, one who entices to wrongdoing. It says agent, you know, and that's what you got. You know, a lot of seducers, man. You know, men, like I said again, who are not coming with sound counsel, wise counsel, so on and so forth, and pushing it to other men, enticing them to do things that are, you know, contrary to the doctrine, all right, contrary to the ministry, you know. And again, Salaki for bringing the shit up, you know, with the 3-week shit and all that shit. But just imagine, you know, someone new in the truth hearing that, you know, you could take those type of breaks. You know, those things are not, you know, healthy for a new believer, man. Okay. Because what, you know, that's ultimately a spirit of slothfulness to the Heavenly Father and His Son. Which can tamper with your salvation, man. Like you said, just that little thing. You may be doing everything right, you know what I'm saying? But you hear that one little thing, and now that has been a snare, banana, a peeled banana in a road for you, man. Now you slipping and falling. Yeah. All right, and for some guys, they hear those things, they slip and fall and don't get up. Yeah. But that's why you gotta watch out for these guys, man.
Right.
And listen to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, and the like-minded men who are pushing sound counsel, all right, and wise counsel amongst the congregation, man. All right, that is ultimately going to benefit your salvation. Yeah. Because here we push diligence, to be diligent to make your calling and election sure. That's the only thing that fucking matters, man. Yeah. All right. Again, like we don't push Jake to, fucking be bums and none of that. You see, Jake got houses and cribs, so on and so forth. Jake is good. Jake is helpful, so on and so forth, man. All right, but at the end of the day, none of these things are going to save you, man. You reading that 1 Timothy 6, what it say? We have brought nothing into this world and can't take nothing out. Yeah. So what the fuck? What's the big deal? The whole thing is that, hey, bro, we need Yahweh Shai, we need salvation. That should be Jake's main goal, especially in the times we're living in today, where everything is just happening. Yep. Everything listed in Matthew the 24th chapter, 2nd to the 9th chapter is happening in the earth, man. Yep. All right, so it's a high time to get your spirit right and key in on Yahweh Shai, be rooted in the Yahweh Shai, as it is written in, I believe, Colossians, man. Right.
Yeah, if I could back you up, brother, again, I always like to compare the truth, to the sports world, specifically when it comes down to 2-minute drill. When it comes to the fourth quarter, those last couple minutes, when shit is getting crucial, you can't afford to be making no mistakes. Yeah. All right. This is when you gotta walk as tight and accomplish everything in a timely manner to win the game. Before the buzzer beat. So when it comes to situations like this, of men pretty much giving advice of pretty much their own feelings, they're being emotional. And not thinking about the body in the sense of like, okay, what if somebody who ain't never heard this before comes and listens to this? But no, you meanwhile just being an emotional, female.
Like you said, Jake just be emotional, man. Yeah. And that shit hinders a lot of Jake, man. Yeah. You got it, brother.
If I could say that definition you brought out with the agent, went into agent, and what did the apostle to her, coin this year, this new year coming in, right?
Yeah,
apostates, agents, different. Jake don't. When Jake hear the word agent, they believe Secret Service. Right. A lot of these guys are agents of Satan, man.
Yeah. Infiltrating the body.
That's right. Yeah. And that's worse than an actual alphabet agent. Got it. That guy, he goes home at night and gets to, go to sleep, his wife, kids. Right. That's a job. Nah, this agent we talking about is your spiritual purpose. Yeah. That's way more.
It's on a higher level. Yeah.
But the Lord has given us the remedy, that eye salve, to see these guys, to call them out, to understand that, hey, something wrong with that guy's spirit. Hey, I look into that.
Everybody watch out.
And we dissect it.
That's right.
Spirit, in defense of the gospel.
Romans 13 tell you mark that man. And Jake not falsely marking men. Nah, it's a diligent search being done through the spirit. Yeah. Jake can't type in nowhere and be like, hey, what's this guy's spirit? Nah. Analyzing patterns, things of that. Go ahead, you got it.
No, analyzing patterns. What'd you say?
No, I just was going into, how Jake does this search. All right, searching this guy up in the spirit. How charitable is he? Does he even like charity? Different things of that nature.
His speech,
right?
His action.
And the strophe. His gait. His innermost parts. But you got it.
Yeah, what I wanted to say, right before you got in here, we was talking about, that's still the duty of a watchman.
That's right.
Right. So you think again, Jake just get so one-sided when they hear a word. All right, you hear watchman, you just think about somebody that sit on a tower and just watch. Right. No, for us, being a watchman, we're watching for prophecy. We're watching out for our brother. We're watching out for the enemy. We're watching out if anything infiltrates the inside.
Yeah.
All right? That's all part of it, you know? It's not just a straight line thing.
Right. Because you got, you know, you think about a security guard. You know, he don't just sit in the booth all day. I mean, at least he ain't supposed to.
Right.
You know, he walks around the perimeter. You know what I'm saying? You know, he looking in the bushes. You know, he's doing his rounds. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's that. You know that ultimately, you know, again, you know, is, you know, the duty of a watcher. You know, you watching everything. You know, you got to check this side of the building, that side, this hallway, that hallway. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And what's the reason? To see if anything is wrong.
Exactly.
If anything is wrong and anything is out of place, I need to make the alarm to, you know, the next level to make sure that we nip this in the butt and get this out of here. You know, this don't need to be nowhere around here, so I'm watching for that. You know?
I got precept. You
got it, brother.
I'm gonna read it in the KJV and then the NLT. This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 2 and 1, and it reads, "But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction." You see? So best believe that, you know, these guys' actions will not go unpunished. Right. Okay? You're actually deceiving a guy who may sincerely believe in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Even though we understand that it's the Lord's movie and judgment must, you know, prevail. Okay? But still in all, that act is punishable by death. Yeah. It says, verse 2, "And many shall follow them, and many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of." You see, these guys, when you look at the counsel they gave, they actually spoke evil of the counsel, man. All right, which if you believe these different leaders, different brothers are men of the Lord, and you believe that the counsel of the Lord is evil, because the Lord is actually speaking
through them men.
That's right. We believe that the apostles, I can speak for, you know, all of these brothers in Great Millstone, who truly and sincerely believe, they believe that these men were set up by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua.
Simple.
And a hierarchy all the way down to the least man.
Yeah.
You know, these different decrees, these different you know, things in which are set in place, set up in the heavens first, and then played out here on earth, man.
Yeah.
It says, "And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not." Now I'm going to read through it in the NLT to get some context. It says, verse 1, "But there were also false prophets in Israel, just as there will be false teachers among you. They will cleverly teach destructive heresies, and even deny the master who brought them." So denying the apostles, okay? Denying, you know, the decrees.
You deny Yahweh.
That's right, man.
You know?
It says, "In this way they will bring sudden destruction upon themselves. Many will follow their evil teachings and shameful immortality. And because these teachers, the way of truth shall be slandered. In their greed, they will make..."
Right, the way of truth shall be slandered. You know, and that's what they did. You know, they you know, they slandered the truth, man. Right, you know, concerning that matter, you know, again, man, you know, he was putting Yahweh Shah on the back burner, and then you know, doubled down on it and bucked up against it. Yeah, you know, slandering the way of truth, man. You niggas are fucking off, man. Shit don't make no sense. You know, you get irritated, man. Yeah, cause why? Like how in your mind were you willing to put Yahweh Shah on the back burner like that? How dare you, bro? Yeah. You know, that's some whole shit, man. It's like the elder Ariel was going into. Like, just think of that, man. Yeah. Man, you know, had businesses, you know, high degrees, and you know what I'm saying. Like you got brothers who still willing dealing in certain things, but you don't see them putting Yahweh on the back burner. Ain't no fucking excuses, man.
Right, none at all.
You know, and then you, like I said, you go to slander with the sound counsel that was given, man. That's ridiculous. But you got it, brother.
You want to say something?
Oh, I got to preach that.
I got a little bit more.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the point is in the latter end, but it says, but it does tie to those guys too, because why are you not content with getting your daily bread?
Yeah.
With whatever that may consist of.
Yeah.
And as we was talking last night before, cameras started rolling and things like that, there's certain shit that can be done to avoid, conflicts like that. Right? Really by way of communication and just being on fire, man. Doing what you're supposed to do. That's how you avoid all of that kind of shit.
Now you ain't got no downtime.
Come on, man.
Stop it.
But it says, verse 3, in their greed, they will make up lies. Slakia. In their greed, they will make up clever lies to get hold of your money, but Yahweh condemned them long ago, and their destruction will not be delayed. So just as you have men who have been sanctified from the foundations of the earth, you also have men that have been damned, all right, for destruction from the foundations of the earth. And it was all a part of their path, right, or their walk to get into the truth, to will and deal, even the heal men, like it said in that what you brought out, that was Matthew's or Mark?
I believe it was Matthew.
Kind of where it said, I've healed in your name.
Yeah, Matthew 7:21.
Hey, they've healed and everything, man.
Yeah.
Can I back you up real quick, bro?
Kind, you got it. Go ahead.
2nd Esdras 9, 21, it says, and I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster, and a plant of a great people, right? Going into ultimately the elect. All right. It says, let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain. Like the brother man mentioned, you had men who were men, women, and children who were slated to be destroyed from the foundation of the earth. Just like you got men, women, and children who were promised to be delivered, all right, and be part of that elect, all right, a part of that election. Finish it out. It says, and let my grape be kept, and my plant for with great labor have I made it perfect. Just backing the brother up, like, a lot of these guys, were marked and slated for destruction from the beginning. He has allowed them to come in the midst of Israel, he just set them up in slippery places, man, for them to fall. You got it, Bayan.
This is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3 and 1. It says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents. All right? And, through the Spirit, the elders and apostles are our spiritual parents here. That's been, feeding us, through the Spirit of the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right? Unthankful, unholy. All right? And that's some unthankful, unholy shit, again, for you to put Yahweh Shai on the back burner and proceed to attack his men, verbally,
And they had the audacity to try to talk some tough shit, man.
Right.
For what? That's how niggas is carnal, man.
Yeah.
Y'all just start talking on the side of his fucking ears, and
Y'all put it up.
But just that's some fuck shit, man.
Yeah.
Niggas ain't right, bro. The Spirit.
Yeah, that's nigga shit,
Yeah.
Most niggas move like that in the world. If you can't win on this high road right here, I'm gonna take the low road and I'm gonna try to hit you with a low road.
Yeah. I'm gonna get carnal.
Yeah. Come on, man. But verse 3 it says, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent.
Yeah, incontinent.
Incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai.
It's heady and high-minded.
Heady and high-minded.
Like, who the fuck are you, bro? Who are these guys? Jake, remember the shit off Spider-Man? we was fighting Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
He got whooped up a little bit. He's like, man, where the fuck all these dudes come from? He's like, where these guys come from? Like, who are you dudes, man? Nigga jump out the bushes with, a garment and a Bible.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Come on, man.
Like Swiper coming from up under the bridge, he just hop up out of nowhere and shit.
But that's the MO of an agent.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Satan, already equipped them with the deceptive agenda.
Yeah.
The deceptive tools, right? The charisma,
The rebellious nature.
the even the knowledge of the scriptures,
Mm-hmm.
like the elders said last night. These guys can pull out precepts out their ass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jay can recite every line in the scriptures from Genesis to Revelations.
Yeah.
But be a fucking nigga.
Yeah. Come.
You see?
Yeah.
That's like, but you gotta understand what an agent is. An agent is an agent because he can play the part.
Right.
A guy that just has an intent of like an ill intent, but don't know how to carry it out, he's not an agent.
Yeah.
These guys are real agents of Satan, bro.
Donnie Brasco type nigga.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
He was trained up to be that. Just like these guys through the spirit, on the left hand side, they're trained up to be agents of Satan. So they come in and they look the part, they walk the part, but really are, like you said, a spiritual Donnie Brasco, man.
Yeah, like what he say, you are of your father the devil.
The devil.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Coming to steal, kill, and destroy,
man.
man.
And the lust of the father, of your father will ye do,
Yep. I have precept.
One more, just to back up everything that you just said. Is going to say that in the NLT. But in the KJV, 2 Timothy 3 and 5, in the KJV, it says, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away.
Heavy.
In the NLT, it says, they will act religious, but they will reject the power that could make them godly. Stay away from people like that.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Right, because ultimately we understand, like the brother said, the hierarchy, it's all about, order, man.
Yeah.
Right, and like, again, the Heavenly Father through Yahweh Shai set up these spiritual men to lead us, to walk in that way.
Right.
We got to go through that sheepfold, plain and simple. We can't go up no other way. You got to go up the correct way. If not, you're a robber. That John 10.
Yeah. I'm just finna say the same thing. That's what that parable is going into. Even if these guys do make it there, man, you came up as a robber. Your fate has been sealed already.
Yeah.
I got something real quick. It's the book of Titus, chapter 1 and 15. It says, in which, when you go into Titus, it gives you it says the qualifications of being a minister, but then it also gives you the example of being a reprobate, which is the opposite, right? It says, verse 15, it says, unto the pure, all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure, even their mind and conscience is defiled. All right, and these guys, they are not pure, man. And you can tell by their actions, by their fruits, all right, their gait, their anastrophe, just they're walking the truth, man. All right?
Where you at?
Titus 1 and 15.
You got it.
And I could have really started up at verse 10, but my page is all damaged, so I ain't start up. But verse 16, it says, they profess that they know Yahweh, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work a reprobate. And that pretty much sums up that video. You claim to be a prophet. You claim to be a watchman. You claim to be an ambassador of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. But ultimately, what you just proved is you're a reprobate, man. You don't respect Yahweh Shai. You don't respect the hierarchy that Yahweh Shai placed upon this earth, man. So by default, you're a reprobate. Really, if you don't repent, you're preaching for nothing. You do better just going back in the world and being a full-fledged nigga, man.
Yeah, you're choosing your side.
Yeah.
You're choosing not to serve the Lord. So now you're going to become an enemy of the Lord.
And see, Salaki, bro, and that be the fucking thing, bro. Like, a lot of... And it's like, bro, just dealing with the situation. And it's not about the apostles. It's not about GMS. It's about the order of Yahweh Ba'ashim.
That's right.
Once you go against the grain, you know, a lot of these guys, they end up fading out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we see happening, you know, over and over and over again, man. A lot of these dudes, you know, they start, they first what do? Look at Sakari. You know, they buck up, you know, they go against the grain, they go against the order, you know, the standard that was set.
Right.
Boom, they try to do their own thing. That may go for a while, okay? But, you know, in the long run, what happens? They end up fading out, man. Because you ain't come up the right way. You know, now you ain't got elders. Now you can't receive wise counsel. You know, so a lot of these guys who try to come up, you know, and want to be them guys, you know, etc. You know, a lot of these affiliate guys, so on and so forth. A lot of these guys end up fading out because they're not rooted and grounded in the ministry, man. You know,
if I could say, that's how you know that this whole truth, this ministry, all right, this whole thing we call life, all right, is ultimately about Yahushua gathering the elect. Because he's used these different camps, these different offshoots, all right, even the guys who fully off, just to bring attention to the truth. He used the Lord used these guys like a pawn. They're not even a rook. They're not even a knight. They're just literal pawns, and the Lord used them to bring in, you know, bring attention to him. You see, and then he's cast them away. I'm gonna take what I need from them. I'm gonna let you fall off and bring these sheep into the fold. You know, and I want to say this because this prophecy that the Lord would do what? Raise up the tabernacle of David in these times. So what these guys are doing is actually bucking up against the tabernacle of David, which have been divinely set in order for these times. But y'all got it, bro.
Real quick, if I may.
Yeah, what?
2 Corinthians 13:8. It says, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So in any event, like you brother said, like, you know, in these scenarios, in these cases, all you do is help forward the true ministry out there. You know, for those who are sincere, you know what I'm saying, and take heed to the correct doctrine, to the counsels, etc., that are given, you know, from the men, you know, in the hierarchy, you know, amongst GMS. Okay, all you do is shine light upon that. You know, you just shine more light upon, you know, the sincere in this ministry, man. Okay, and then mark yourself for destruction. You know, and whoever follows you, and, you know, because then you will have guys like that who come out with their antics, and then you start to see the hearts of other men too, who act like they was down with the program and shit. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, they killed me with that 3 video shit, and you know what I'm talking about?
We secretly was scoffing.
Secretly was scoffing. You know, whole time like, damn, bro, I'm booed off that, cause now you really see how when certain shit come up, then you really see how Jake feel about the apostles, feel about GMS.
Yeah,
you know, we're bums and shit. What the fuck are you talking about? We stink. Y'all want us to come to Camp Muncie? Who in the fuck ever said that? Jake, you know what I'm saying? Now you really see how Jake feel about the ministry, man. You know, the whole time you was acting like you was with the program, but you weren't. Hoe ass nigga, man. You know, niggas can't just come out and just, you know, say it, you know, you know what I'm talking about? Niggas was hating from a distance, man. That's whole shit, man.
You said 1 Samuel.
It should be 15 and 12.
15 and 12.
Yeah.
It reads.
Hold on. But before we're gonna end off on that.
Go ahead.
You got.
Oh, that's it, bro.
I want to grab this one real quick to back up a point. This is St. Luke chapter 12 and 40. The point is in 42. It says, "Be therefore ready also, for the Son of Man cometh in an hour when ye think not." Then Peter said unto him, Lord, speakest thou this parable unto us, or even to all? And the Lord said, Who then is the faithful and wise steward, whom his Lord shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? All right. And I'm reading NLT as well. It says, and the Lord replied, A faithful, sensible servant is one whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his other household servants and feeding them. All right. And this is the house of David. All right. So we're being, you know, watchers of our brothers, making sure everything is according to what needs to be done, you know, before the Lord returns home. You know, once the Lord returns, he's going to come back and see, okay, we kept the house in order, everything is all good, and then we're going to get our reward.
We're meeting the quota.
Yeah,
you know,
kind of.
Like I said, it's like, you know, when Jake was younger, when your mother left that list on the fridge.
Yeah.
There's a certain itinerary that must be completed before you come home.
Dishes, the dishes done, the carpet,
sweep the floor,
sweep
mop the floor,
mop,
the whole
bathroom.
nine.
yeah, wipe the walls, whatever.
What stood out to me was where it says managing his household's servants and feeding them.
Yeah.
What did Yahushua tell Peter to do?
John 21.
Feed my sheep.
Yeah.
And he repeated it how many times? Three. For
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah.
Right, these guys are not feeding the sheep.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
And if they are, they feed them some bullshit.
It's bullshit.
some
It's
slop.
not according to what was said to feed them,
Yeah.
which is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Mhm.
But, you know, y'all brothers covered that, you know.
Come on. Yeah, we could end it off with the 12, and you can read the 13.
1 Samuel chapter 15 and 12, it says, and when Samuel arose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Samuel, it's like Saul, come to Carmel, and behold, he
It's
set
like it. 15 and 22.
15 and
My
22.
bad. I know that's why you was looking at.
Yeah, I was trying to. I'm like, what's going on? It says, and Samuel said, had the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Question mark.
Mhm.
Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams.
And we know that was the case with Saul. You know, when Saul went out on his own whim and didn't kill who was the Agag, the
Yeah.
Amalekite. All right, but you know what it said at the end. Read that one more time.
It says, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams.
All right, so to obey is to be better than sacrifice, and to hearken into the fat of rams. And the NLT says, but Samuel replied, what is more pleasing to the Lord, your burnt offerings and sacrifices, or your obedience to his voice? Listen, obedience is better than sacrifice, and submission is better than offerings of rams.
Good.
It's like it because when you go into obedience, you know, pretty much, you know, it's obeying, you know, the higher power or authority.
Right.
But what that obedience is showed forth, you know, through you hearkening unto the words of the Lord, which comes through who? The prophets.
It's the same as on the movie 300.
Yeah.
When that herald, because we are heralds, when that guy came to Sparta and gave the message or the decree of Xerxes at that time, hey, they didn't hearken unto his message, but he was coming with the message of his Lord,
his authority.
The messenger gets the authority. What is that? That's in damn, I can't think of it. I'm gonna find it, but it was when we was rebuilding the second temple, and Cyrus the Great gave authority.
Decree. We're talking about Ezra.
Ezra. He gave Ezra the full authority. And it literally said he gave him his authority to go through the land.
No,
I'm saying it's in Ezra.
Yeah, it's in Ezra.
The writings that Cyrus gave.
He
gave him the decree to build.
But in the spirit, that's how we come.
Right.
You know, we coming with the power and spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That's why we say that when we saying something, you know, to Jake, man, through the spirit, because the Lord has given us that.
Read that last part again and roll into 23.
Gotcha.
End it off on that.
It says, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, and had also rejected thee from being king.
So again,
it says, he hath also rejected thee from being king.
So the Lord just sat here and told you, all right, to obey is better than sacrifice. So obey your masters, man. Obey your teachers. Obey the higher authority, you know, that you have. All right, that's pleasing to the Lord. For you to think that, okay, I'm going to sacrifice and do this and that and the third, but I'm going to do all of this on my own. I ain't going to listen to nobody around me. The Lord ain't messing with that. All right, you're doing something better than, you know, what a 2/3 ass nigga would be doing, but it's still not 100% correct. All right, and if it's not 100%, it's wrong.
It's wrong.
All right, but it says, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness as iniquity and idolatry.
Stubbornness.
All right, you don't want to fall in that boat, man. So by rebellion and being stubborn, you know, to your teachers, all right, you're sinning, Jake. All right, so, you know.
I got one more for
Go ahead.
Slocket,
Yeah, you got it.
Proverbs 14:12, it says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. So Saul's question was a valid question, because you might think, damn, the more I sacrifice, the more pleasing, you know, my sacrifice will be to the Lord. That's a valid question.
Right.
But it was told to him, you know, just obey.
Yeah.
The Lord look at that, you know, more greater.
Yeah. He told you to do this, so do that.
Do that.
Yeah.
But you got it out.
Yeah, I think the point was made, man. So any closing remarks? That was it. So I pray that this lesson was edifying. Praying to get out of here. We want to give infinite honors and prayers unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakodash.
Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us the truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. You Akim, you Akwat, which is your brothers and sisters in the Hebrew, I believe. Shalom.
Shalom.